Tonight is the All-Star game, and the headliner, thankfully, he's playing. And that Ephraim, and we'll start here because I've said this, but I don't think I've said this with you on the shows. So I do want to get your opinion because you are, even though everybody knows you as a former NFL football player, you coach baseball. Now, Little League, but still. So that shows you have some interest and knowledge of the game.
Well, not only did I coach baseball, we won the 9U championship.
Wow.
So just
9U in that's great. What league? Little League, or is that did y'all travel?
No, Sherman Oaks Little League. Really big Little League out here in Southern California. But continue. Go ahead. I just wanted to throw that out there.
That just makes it even better. But Shohei Ohtani, Ephraim, he is the best baseball player ever. Now, I'm not calling him the GOAT. We can't say that. He's got a long way to go and a lot to accomplish. And if he gets derailed, whether it's injury, falling off, whatever it might be, right? Then he can never be recognized as the GOAT. But just watching him, like I said this about Patrick Mahomes, you might agree with me. Patrick Mahomes isn't the GOAT, right? Obviously, that's Tom Brady at quarterback. Mahomes has GOAT potential, of course.
Well, he's on his way.
Right. Well, and I've said this, and I said this early. Rob G can attest. He's the best quarterback, I would say, we've ever seen. Certainly, I think he's the best quarterback ever, but he's still got a lot to accomplish to become the GOAT. And we'll see if he ends up doing that. But Shohei, the best ever in my book, is the headlining tonight's All-Star game as a hitter, not a pitcher, because he has a blister on his throwing hand. But before we get to the trade talk, I want your view. Do you agree with me that he's the best baseball player we've ever seen?
In the history of baseball?
History of baseball.
I would say because his career has been so limited,
well,
we can't put him there. Like,
but you understand what I'm saying.
I'm not saying
where
you're saying, but what
I'm not saying he's. Yeah, I'm just saying I test what we've seen. Because I'm not arguing. I totally agree. Just like Patrick. That's why I brought up the Patrick Mahomes example, because I thought that would drive home the point that I'm not saying we would rank. Like, if his career ended now, we wouldn't say, oh, he was the best ever.
So let me ask you this. Is that because of his hitting and pitching?
Well, it's because of his hitting and pitching and doing it at both of them
right
at an all-star level.
Okay, so
no one in the history, including Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth didn't start hitting a lot of home runs. He didn't hit more than 29 until he stopped pitching. And so we look at Babe Ruth as, oh, he was a pitcher and a hitter too. No, he pitched full-time and then stopped pitching full-time and became this phenomenal hitter.
Is that including Negro League as well?
Well, only we no, I'm keeping it real.
Okay.
I include Josh Gibson as potentially as good as, I think he, from what we know, I would say he was as good as Babe Ruth. But he didn't pitch either. And we know limited, what we know about Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, and others in the Negro Leagues is somewhat limited. But you can throw them in, but I'm including them. Because they didn't bat 300 and
we don't know that.
Be pitching at a Cy Young level. Did Satchel Paige bat?
Yeah, Satchel did. He did. Look, I just wanted to know.
Full time. He played full time both ways.
But this is why I'm asking the question, because your question was, or your statement was, he's the greatest baseball player ever. So yes. I want to make sure we're talking about the greats.
I'm including the Negro Leagues. Ain't nobody looking over the Negro Leagues.
Okay, I'm asking. I just wanted to, for my reference and for my answer. And I'll say, look, he's on pace to be that. Is he that now? No. Because, you're not engaging it the way I'm stating it. I know what you're saying.
Who have you seen that plays better than him, or even not seen before we? And I'm looking up Satchel Paige's numbers, and I don't see any batting. So I'm just saying, I see pitching. Oh, I see batting.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I mean, he hit like most pitchers. Like 66 at bats, 98 at bats. So he hit as a pitcher. He wasn't like a full-time player.
Shohei is
batter
right now the most electrifying baseball player on the planet Earth. He's doing things that very few can and ever have been able to do at a high level, extremely high level. So I get what you're saying there.
Right.
I talked about this on Sunday on our show when we were talking about him, and I see it now in Little League. If a kid can pitch, right, everybody starts off pitching and hitting. That's just what it is.
Right.
Everybody can pitch, and if you're a pitcher, you're also a hitter when you're in Little League and you move up in the ranks. What happens is
even through high school.
Exactly. The better you become at pitching, the less they allow you to hit.
Agreed.
That wasn't the case for Shohei. So you have to be. If our society would develop these players differently, because I remember I was in high school, Kevin McKechnie got drafted out of high school. He ended up going to play football with me at San Diego State. He was a dynamic point guard, quarterback, pitcher, everything. He hit 400. He was a tremendous athlete, but they stopped him from pitching. Like his senior year, he was all about pitching.
Right.
He no longer continued to hit balls out of the park because that's how this country does pitchers. When you get a young pitcher, you just focus on that. Don't worry about hitting. You don't have to do that.
Agreed.
Now, what I'll say is if that changes and they allow these athletes to be athletes, then now we'll see more Shoheis. But as of right now, yeah, he is the blueprint. That's what you would want. That you wouldn't want to have to burn your pitchers at bat. You know what I mean? You would want to be able to have him in the lineup and to get dividends out of that. Of course.
I totally agree with you. And I think you hit on the question. And Rob and I have asked, as we've had former baseball players, managers and the like on, we've asked them, do you think we're going to now start seeing a change in the development of, young players? And if you are a great hitter and pitcher, as you see many of these guys are in high school, will they be allowed to do both? Those that are good enough at the college level, maybe at the minor league level. And we've gotten mixed answers. Some have said, yes, they believe you'll start to see more. Others have said, no, they don't think it'll happen. I think the question now, Ephraim, for those in the baseball world, is Shohei Ohtani a once-in-a-lifetime, heck, once-in-a-century type player, or are there others who, if had they been given the chance, could have done what he's doing? That's what we don't know. Because I hear you, and I lean toward thinking, I don't want to take anything away from Ohtani, but I lean toward thinking there could have been a handful, not a ton, but not regular, but there could have been a handful of guys who could have done this. Now, I don't know if they would have hit 300 like him and been one of the best 5, 6, 7 pitchers in the league. I don't know. But I feel like there probably are some that just had to pick that could have done this. I might be wrong. And I think that we're going to get that answer, Ephraim, over the next 25, 30 years.
Oh, yeah. I look, Roger Clemens, if he was allowed to continue to bat at whatever point, the question to me is, at what age, when you talk to great pitchers, you can ask each of them the same question. At what age were you stopped from batting?
I think it's getting younger. You might know better than me.
I'm telling you, I'm watching.
It used to be
I'm watching
you could play. When I was coming up, and probably you were coming up, you would play through high school, right? There were great pitchers who were great hitters.
They were the best on the team.
Right.
Those
they
guys
were like the
went,
best players on the team, period. But then as they got to college, it changed. Now I feel like it's getting younger.
Well, it is because I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the specialized attention that they're giving these kids in Little League for pitchers. I'm watching them do pitching clinics while everybody else is hitting and doing fielding, I'm watching those kids go work with a pitching coach doing practice. And
what age is that?
This is 9 years. This is 9 years old. This is 9 and 10 years old.
So the 9-year-olds, are they hitting?
They're hitting.
They still probably can just hit well off
one of our best players on our team, beautiful kid, had him in basketball. He was on my all-star basketball team too. Tremendous athlete. His name was Daniel. Right? Daniel, unassuming, very quiet, get up there, give you 5 dynamic innings, maybe allow 1-2 runs, but then he was also our best hitter.
Right.
What I've seen over the course of the season as we got closer to the playoffs is, hey, Daniel, come over here. We're going to work on pitching. So now we take him. He goes over to the pitching coach outside of the field, and he works on that while everybody else is working on. He was also our best shortstop, right? Couldn't get a ball past him.
Yeah,
so
I believe it at that age.
So I'll use this kid as a 9-year-old right now. If he continues right now playing at the clip at pitcher, shortstop, and hitting the way he does, he can be that. Because at 9, he has such a huge. I mean,
it's
his dad didn't even know. His dad was like, I don't even know where it comes from.
Well,
but what I'm saying is,
it
is very early. But what they're doing is they're taking him.
Right, and making him a pitcher.
Right. So when he's 10,
we gotta
11,
break.
and 12.
You know how this works.
I know.
All right,